So there are affordable lights like the softbox kit, and then there are the popular lights like the classic ring light that every creator knows and uses to light their videos. But these are not the best lights. The best lights are called monolights, and I wish I knew this information back in the day when I purchased my first legit light for content creation. One thing I wish I knew when I first purchased a monolight was how simple the terms were. And I feel like even me saying that makes no sense whatsoever. When I bought monolights, I really thought it was a complicated situation trying to find a light for my content. And granted, I did spend a lot of money on lights I didn't need for certain spaces. But now looking back, I realized that searching for a monolight is literally like shopping for a light bulb. Maybe I didn't know how to do that because I live at home, but I'm never really buying bulbs for myself, and now everything's LED. But that literally is the same principles can be applied to buying a monolight. And so even if a light says 60D or 60X or 600D or 600XS, that is telling you how much wattage that light can output. And so if you have a smaller space like the one I'm in right now, you're good with a 60 watt monolight. And if you have a bigger space, you want more room to play with the power output, 600D is overkill, but 600D is definitely going to work for an even bigger space. And when I say bigger space, I'm thinking conference room, trying to light a conference room. And an office, or a full-size bedroom, you want to use a 200D or a 300D. But I wish I knew that in the beginning. That's just what that meant. And the cheaper the light, the more affordable it is. But also remember that if you're lighting a smaller space, you don't need a big, powerful 300D, 600D light. You are fine with a 60 watt light. Learn from me, save your money, live better. Walmart. So as you grow as a creative, so does your knowledge concerning color temperature. So if you've been in this game for a little bit and you just want to increase the quality of your content, and you're not afraid to switch that knob on your camera from auto to manual, then you would need to invest in a monolight that has a bicolor option. Like for example, if you wanted your footage to look more warm or you wanted your footage to look more cool, you have that option with the bicolor light. Now, granted, if you just started, that's a lot of information, and I mean, I never want to assume that someone can catch on and learn quicker than I did, or anybody else in this field. But it is a lot to learn, it's a lot to keep up with. And bicolor lights really, to honestly, to use a bicolor light, you would have to know about color temperature. You would have to change the color temperature in your camera, because right now this light is set at 5400 Kelvin, so my white balance is set at 5400 Kelvin. Now I could have a checker, which I do have one, to set my actual white balance to like true white, I think, but I haven't really gotten into that because color grading is something I'm still learning, I'm still playing with, and so I probably will in the coming year really work on that. But sometimes if something like that is stopping me from creating content, I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's like I know what to do, and when I'm working on commercial work, I do that, but for myself, it's just like, that's one thing I'm just not too worried about right now. And if it doesn't achieve the look that I want, then I will go back and I will use a white balance card to do that. But as I'm saying this is what I mean. If you're just starting, you have no idea about color temperature, you definitely don't want to switch from auto to manual. There is no reason to use a bicolor light. But if you are somebody who's invested honestly in this type of knowledge, and you want to learn, you want to get better, and you want to have full control over the creativity of your content, how it looks, and you don't want to outsource it to anybody else, or you can't afford to outsource it to anybody else, then you would want to purchase a bicolor light, because not only, even if you bought a 60 watt bicolor light like the one I have here, which obviously can only light a small space, so if you get into a bigger space, 50-50, you're still going to be able to use it. You can still use it in the background for different effects, because bicolor lights, not only with just the different Kelvin temperatures that you can use, but the one that I have right now has different effects. They have fireworks, they have faulty bulbs, paparazzi, which I don't think I'm going to show paparazzi because I don't want to have to, have a warning for any strobe effects. But that is the great thing about this light. It's future proof. I can use it even as a cinematographer for different things. Even though it's a smaller light, it's less powerful, I still can do cool things like that in a small and controlled space. But if I was brand spanking new, I have my camera, but I do not feel comfortable switching to manual mode, and nor do I have the time to learn what I need to do when I switch to manual mode, I would buy a daylight temperature light. It's only like $30-$40 cheaper than a bicolor light, but the light is set, and therefore in auto, which should, in auto mode, you should already have auto white balance set. It's been a hot minute since I played around in auto. I think I graduated from auto back in like 2016, 2015, pretty sure, yeah. And so I don't even remember what happens with auto mode, but I'm pretty sure in auto mode it would already have an automatic white balance, so that it can recalibrate for the daylight temperature light that you're using. I don't know why every time I stop talking, I just have to do them. Because I guess I don't know what to do with my hands after that, after I say what I need to say to you. So, I'm going to figure that one out. The bigger the source, the softer the light. But that is not referring to the power of your light, but the diffusion that you use, aka softboxes. So, in a previous video, I talked about how I went down the rabbit hole of trying to find a softbox that would make my content look more cinematic, and then I learned, as always, the hard way, because I couldn't afford courses or anything like that, so I had to go to the University of YouTube and stitch videos together to learn this, that softboxes is not the actual light, but it's the modifier that you place on the light to get, I wouldn't say, how do I say this? It's not, in my humble opinion, I don't believe, because this is my opinion, the thing about content, and especially videography and cinematography, is that a lot of things are subjective, and once you like something and it's your preference, this is what you use to get that look. So with different diffusion or different softboxes, they come in different shapes. They come in square, they come in rectangles, they come in circles. I have one that's octagon shaped. I think the smallest you can get is 22 inches. The biggest you can get is like, I don't even think it's 75. It's bigger than that, but you can get really big softboxes. And the more expensive ones are definitely the bigger ones, but they're also the easiest to set up, and the cheaper ones you never want to break down after you get them set up, which is actually the softbox I'm using right now. It's like $50, but once I put it up, 4 or 5 years ago, it has been like that ever since, because I'm not going to take those rods and every time I need to use it and put those rods back. Nope. No. So, it just depends on the look that you're trying to not achieve, really. As I said, it's really hard to explain this type of stuff because a lot of stuff is subjective. But, I mean, for example, if you, like, I've seen kind of like an overhead shot, maybe of someone at a counter in a kitchen. The best light to light that whole spot evenly without using an 8x8 diffusion fabric that you'd see on set would be a rectangular softbox, an elongated rectangular softbox. And then usually what I've seen in people's offices, when they just shoot content like talking head videos like that, they usually go for the circular softbox, or like the one I have, the octagon softbox. But the bigger the source, the softer the light is, which I love so much. Because before, in a previous video, I was using a 22-inch softbox by Aperture. I do love that softbox. It's really quick and easy to put together, but it wasn't as soft and flattering and wrapped around my face as I liked. So I went out and got my old faithful, I think 33-inch Godox softbox, octagon softbox that I got for like $56, I believe. That was a little bit bigger, a little bit softer, and fit the space. Because if I was to get my 48-inch Aperture Light Dome version 3, which is a quick release one, it was just going to be too big and too deep for the space. And also too, the light that I have, I'm once again using the 60XS by Amaran, and because the box is so wide and it's so deep, the light would not be able to disperse evenly, I guess is what I want to say, through it. I'm not gonna lie, some of this stuff is like, I can't explain it. I just know that won't work for me, and I need to go and do something else or try something else. But this softbox that I'm using here is shallow. It's a shallow softbox, and it's a wider softbox, so it works for the 60-watt light. But if I was to use the bigger one that I have, the 48-inch, which is bigger and it would wrap around very nicely to my face, and remember, the bigger the source, the softer the light, I would probably have to pull out my small rig 220D or my GVM. I think it's 300. I think I have light to just be able to power through it, and probably just be on 2% power, because I believe this light right now is on 10% power. But also too, with these soft boxes and these different modifiers, they all come with S Bowens mount. I think that's the popular mount. I don't think there's any other mount out there. Well, I think there is other mounts out there, but the one that's always common and that's always sold, and what I have bought, especially to that will fit with my monolights, is the Bowens mount. And you find that in the specs area when you're purchasing a softbox. But yeah, there's just so many different options out there when it comes to modifying your light. And that's something I did not understand or knew when I first purchased my monolight, that I had to buy a softbox, or that a softbox wasn't a light, but it was the box that you put on there. And depending on how big the source is, the softer the light. If that's the look you want to get, if you want to have a moody, spotlight look, this is not the light that you will use. And so I feel like that's like probably the number one great thing about monolights, is just being able to pop off a softbox and pop on a new one, or have one softbox over here, like the top overhead square one, and then have an octagon over here and have a circular one over here. Just trying to achieve the creative look that you want to achieve, especially when you get better at this and you learn more about this. Okay, so you now have the monolight of your choice. You have the type of diffusion that you want for your light. You're gonna have to get some C-stands. Now, the reason I am throwing this in here as a bonus tip is because when I bought a monolight, I used, respectfully, the cheap stands that came with the lights before. So the light stands that came with the softbox kit that I bought for $49.99 off of Amazon. The light stand that came with the GVM, which is great video maker ring light, that I bought for $89.99, and the two stands that came with the small, I don't even know the size or dimensions for the LED panels that I bought from great video makers for like $200. I bought that for my Godox SL 60 watt, which they don't even make this version. They have a new one that they updated, but I've used those light stands. And if you're familiar with those light stands, you've been in my situation, you know how flimsy and cheap and inexpensive these are, because at the end of the day, they're not really holding up anything that's substantially heavy or with any girth to it. And even the SL 60 watt Godox light that I had was not that heavy but it was questionable if it would stay up with a good bit of diffusion, good little hefty softbox on top of that 60 watt. So I went out and I bought a pack of, at the time, don't know if they still do it, so if they do, I'll definitely link it in the description, but I went out and I bought a pack of Newer. It was like a Christmas deal years ago. Newer was selling a 2-pack of their light stands, and I love these light stands because they're solid, and I love the spring cushion that they have for these light stands, and they're just perfect for any light that is between 60 watt and 150 watts. Now, if you're going to use a light that's 200 watts and up, you're gonna need a C-stand. The suckers are always heavy. I have not come across one 200D light that's not lightweight. They're always hefty. So you're gonna need a C-stand. Now, I have a Newer C-stand. I'm not a fan of it, and I don't even think they're like cheaper than the ones I do have now that I like. But I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Newer C-stands. I don't like how they lock. They're just not convenient and quick. I'm honestly always in a rush trying to set things up, and so I need something quick and easy to set up. And so I really like the Impact C-stands because they have the twist and release locks. So it's just like pop it up and turn it and drop it and done. You're done. Your C-stand is set. And also they come in black. So I have a black C-stand, and then I have my silver C-stands from Impact. So I really like them, really big fan of them. And also, do not forget the sandbags. 15 pounds should do the trick. Anything under that, it should be fine, but me, I always like to be safe, so 15 and up for the sandbags, especially for your C-stand, and even your light stands would help as well. So I hope this video was helpful. I will link all the lights that I currently own and use for my content in the link. I will link all the lights that I currently use for my content in the description. I hope that this video was helpful, and if it was helpful, please subscribe, like, and share, because sharing with a friend is caring, and I will catch you in the next video.